I am Zlatan, as told by David Lagercrant. So this is a book that the autobiography of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It is the story of how Zlatan came up from a challenging childhood and reached the top of football. And so this is a story that when I read it, when I read it, I found that I had a lot in common with Zlatan. So this is in terms of how we came up. So for him, when he came up, he was people treated him like an outsider, like he didn't belong there. Now for him, wanted to prove them wrong. So for me, during my time as I was coming through, I also relate to that in that I also felt the same way that I did not belong, especially now when I was in primary school. So I felt that I didn't belong and as if I have something to prove to people. Now for me, that kind of relate to my story. The other thing about Latin is that his way of telling a story, like he adopts this arrogant voice that now it's just the same as the way he talks when he's on the press conferences. Now, for example, there's this time that when he came to Manchester United in 2016, now at that time, Cantona was regarded as the king of Manchester. So when Zlatan was asked, or when Cantona made the comment that he's the king of Manchester, Zlatan didn't argue with him. He just said that I am the god. Maybe he can be the king of Manchester, but I am the god of Manchester. For me, I find it is arrogant, but it also has a funny way to it. And now that is also the way his book is written, like it's written in a very arrogant style, but the way it comes out very funny. The other thing about him is that there's this time that he's asked how he compares to the other players. Now what he says is that Lions don't compare the same Lions don't compare the same to the rest. Now that is like it is so it captures the what Latin is about. Like he has this arrogant thing about him, but the way he puts it out comes off as very funny. Like it's as if he just playing around. The other thing about this book is the way the story is told. It gives you the details in such a way that you can paint a picture of what is being said in the book. And now this is something that I mentioned the other time with a song of Ice and Fire series books. So this book of Am Zlatan also goes in the same way in that the way he tells the story is that you can kind of picture it in your mind what he's talking about. And now when he does that now it ends up being very striking and also it ends up being very memorable. So that my take on I Am Zlatan. So the book is written in a very arrogant but funny style. Second one is that the way he tells the story is that he paints a picture in such a way that you can picture it in your mind. Now you can have details about what he's talking about. And now the last thing is that it relates to my story when I was young. In that most of us we felt like outsiders as we were growing up, and now those are my three takeaways. So I'll see you in the next session and have a great week. Bye bye. DM.